Magic the Gathering. Here's the part where we're going to talk about something that I don't know nothing about. What are we switching?
Order a little bit. Let's go to How to Train Your Dragon first.
Okay. So this How to Train Your Dragon 3 poster came out, and it's a thing. You know what? I'll just find it. Someone describe it while I'm looking for it.
You have Toothless and opposite color Toothless on the other side with Hiccup standing in between them. It's How to Train Your Dragon, The Hidden World, next spring 2019. And it kind of looks like the dragons are giving each other eyes.
That whole Simba and Nala thing going on.
Yeah.
Like, oh yeah.
Well, they're gonna fight first.
Well, obviously.
yeah,
Most definitely.
He's gonna win.
Anyway, so
he found the one other Night Fury, a white Night Fury, if you get that. And they're trying to save the species or something. It's unclear at the moment.
So here's the poster. It looks like they're giving each other the googly eyes, and like they're gonna fall in love because that's what happens in cartoons these days. I've never seen a How to Train Your Dragon movie in my life. I hear they're pretty good, but I've never seen one. I personally find romance at all to be, I mean, unless you're telling a love story. If you're telling a love story, then absolutely you have to have it because it's kind of the focus of the entire thing. Everybody say hi to my dad back there in the background doing laundry or whatever he's doing.
Hello.
Hey.
Hi, Dad.
One day I'll have my own house and we won't have to worry about this. That's true. He will be.
First two.
Yeah. What?
The first two movies are not love stories, and there's not really any of that involved at all. In fact, I don't think this one's going to be a love story either. Honestly, not in a traditional sense. It's going to be that kind of. It's not going to be. It's going to be more like if your dog is yipping at the neighbor dog. Mm-hmm. I think they're going to try to put some lovey-dovey stuff into it, but they're still ostensibly just animals. Yeah. So.
Yeah, How to Train Your Dragon has always been very wholesome fun. My little cousin, nephew, what do I call Kyler? At any rate, younger family member has been incredibly involved with the series and its growth, and several of the spin-off shows that have been hosted on Netflix. Do yourself a service. These are good, wholesome films that I can recommend to just about any family.
And they are DreamWorks movies. DreamWorks has a pretty good relationship with Netflix, so even though I haven't looked, I'd be willing to bet there's a pretty good chance they're on Netflix.
They'd be fun to watch with Gatsby.
Yeah, so I might check that out. Anyway, the reason why we're bringing it up, and I was bringing up, like my opinion of love stories in cartoons, and it's mostly like there's the part of me, like as a dad, that is like, I don't know that I care so much for my 9-year-old learning what love means from a cartoon where everything happens in the span of 90 minutes. And it's just really unrealistic. But that's not even the problem that I have with it. I just think in general, love stories, or at least movies that aren't meant to be love stories, but like an attraction to someone is the main motivating factor in the protagonist, what he's doing. I think it's dumb and lazy writing. That's just my personal opinion. You can disagree with me if you want. So my opinion of this is like, if it's going to turn into a love story, that's kind of lame. And I think it's silly. The internet kind of blew up, or at the very least Twitter blew up, or at least Twitter is not the entire internet, and it's its own little weird thing. But Twitter kind of blew up over this idea that not so much that they're going to introduce a romance into the series, but specifically that they're going to introduce a heterosexual romance into the series. And people were very perturbed by this. And this is at the very least my first time experiencing anything where anyone's gotten mad specifically because, I mean, it's kind of like you had the real super conservative Christians, or even not even necessarily super conservative, just Christians in general, getting aggravated with homosexual relationships being injected into everything. Now it's just this coming from the other side about heterosexuals. is what it seems like. I mean,
They wouldn't know irony if
anyway.
it slapped them in the face. I just.
Well, my response to the outrage is simply this: that outrage is the sort of thing that has been forcing all the homosexual everything into everything. And it's such a massively vocal victim minority that's doing it, that it's causing the vast majority of people who are not in that subset to be accosted by stuff that does not necessarily jive with their values, right?
Mm-hmm.
But in my experience with How to Train Your Dragon is that they're probably not really going to spend a lot of time on it at all, because first of all, Toothless is not the protagonist. Okay, Hiccup is the protagonist.
Well,
and Hiccup.
Sorry, go on. You're
Hiccup
talking.
at
Sorry.
this point is the chief of the village, right? And the synopsis that I read said that there was problems in the village, and I think that this is only going to be ancillary to the main storyline, where he's trying to fix the problem, and the problem is going to be more difficult because Toothless goes off after this chick, I guess, for a while, and that causes tension. Blah blah blah. I don't think that's actually going to be the main focus of the story. So I think the outrage is kind of silly on multiple levels.
So maybe the outrage should be that it's going to be another story about a man saving a woman.
Oh.
I don't know.
And I think we have to. Sorry, go ahead, Jamie.
The rest of the outrage, I know, I'm sorry, I'm loud and obnoxious, but the rest of the outrage wasn't necessarily just that it was a heterosexual relationship. Another part of that was people complaining because they make the dragon female look feminine. Now, some of these people they make a good point. Like, why would you have a curvy bust area on a dragon when it's a freaking lizard and they don't have breasts, right? And if you're talking about looking at normal, like, natural standards, the female is probably going to be about 1.5 to 2 times the size of Toothless himself.
Mm-hmm.
And that, obviously, judging by that poster, is not the case. So that outrage maybe justify a little bit. Yes, precisely. But I mean, they go with the trope of making the female just look like a sexier version of the original, and I use that term loosely, mind you. I'm not a furry, okay, or a scaly in this case. But I mean, the only thing that I'm thinking here is, well, is Toothless like a genetic mutation, or does this chick also have the ability to sheath her teeth? That's what I want to know.
I don't know.
I think, and this has personally been my approach, in response to some of this outrage. It's almost kind of like Freddy Krueger. The more you talk about him, the more power that you give them. I don't know, man. I'm over the sensationalist. Like, it's one thing to acknowledge them and say, well, this is dumb. Or, hey, they have a point. Regardless of your views, I think the outrage is just ridiculous. It's people, a select group of people who are whining about a very select topic to their community. And it's nothing exclusive to any community that does this. I mean, I don't know what it is about us as humans, but we just really, really have this aptitude for complaining. I'm one of them. I'll complain about things, and I try not to come across as whiny. I've been doing more recently to try and understand why things are being done from the perspective of the creator, and then how that projects to the communities, right?
I'm a million times as humble as thou art.
Well, so we're a group of Christians and geeks. The only group that does complain more than we do are crazy lefty SJWs.
I can't agree with that. I mean, there's just as many people on the right that get rabid over my freedom, rights.
But my freedom, Josh.
Yeah, no.
Rabbit. Okay, we fought a war for that rabidity. That rabidity got us freedom.
Careful, Bones. The foam's coming off your lips. I'm not disagreeing. I think freedom is a wonderful thing. The problem is when the freedom is so free that it tramples upon the freedom of others. If such a thing can be that free.
I don't know. That would get...
Okay, you Nazi.
Yeah, that's what it boils down to.
Yeah, basically.
Wouldn't be the first time I've been called literally Hitler.
I think
You
this
know how
whole
many
debate-
times I've been called a Nazi to my face? It's hilarious.
Ned,
But I'm not gonna tell
honestly, this whole thing to me reeks of a tempest in a teapot, and I'm just going to lampshade it all with hashtag first world problems.
Mm-hmm.
easy. Yeah, that's a great short of what I said. Yeah.
There you go.
You know, Ned, question. How old are you, brother?
I will be 32 in 11 days.
Old fart.
Okay, so how is it that you speak like I did 15 years ago? Because I am getting progressively dumber as I get older.
So,
I'm just lucky, I guess.
Probably. Or maybe you hang out with better people than I do. I don't know.
wait. I don't know how to take that.
I know exactly how to take that. Use you, sir.
Oh man.
Oh.
Well, no, look at it. Look at it this way, right? In the Navy, I was surrounded by people who, quite honestly, made me feel either like a genius or B, a complete moron. Okay, so like I always wondered how come I wasn't with the morons when they put with all the smart people, right? Because I always knew I was smart, and I always.
And then he died.
He said he
Thing
always
where
knew
I
he was
would-
smart, and the FBI was like, "No."
Well, no, it wasn't even that. It wasn't even that. It's just that my smarts are very selective. Like when I select to use them, they select not to show up. That's all I'm saying.
Mhm.
Mm.
Well, so there's that. Go see How to Train Your Dragon. Don't go see How to Train Your Dragon. I don't really care.
I'm gonna see it.
You should. You should go see it. All right. Jimmy,
I'm gonna buy them.
what?
You gotta buy a plushie.
Oh, do it. buy a plushie of the sexy white one.
Maybe not.
Someone will take. There's your promo clip for this episode.
Patty, is there
Wakanda
something
forever.
to tell us?
No, I'm not trying to tell you anything. Okay. Jimmy, did you need to take off before we get into Magic the Gathering?
Yeah, unfortunately.
Okay.
Good night, brother.
Well, it was fun having you here.
Yeah, now maybe someone else. Yeah.
There you go. This is Josh, Ned, and Anafix's time. And I don't know, Josh, not Darman Josh. Are you into Magic?
A little bit.
Okay,
It comes
well
and goes.
then maybe you'll be able to follow this because I'm not into it at all. So I'm basically going to introduce the topic and then I'm going to go. All right,
Patrick,
speak.
this summer I'm
All right.
sending you a big box
right.
of cards.
Bye, Jimmy. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you
And they'll
later.
be useless in 2 months.
I mean, they'll
Depends
be
on what
fun for-
format.
Yeah.
So, yeah, go ahead. Darman, you can take over. We're talking about Magic the Gathering BATTLEBOND, which is a thing that I hear that the people like to play with.
People exploded onto the internet. Holy crap. So, short recap of the last 8 months of Magic. Wizards of the Coast has had horrible sales over the last year or so. They recently dropped a report, a financial report in mid-April that basically stated that sales were down about 33%, largely due, in fact, to Several of their flagship sets, they call them master sets because they include cards that are playable all the way back through the beginning of Magic. They are incredibly powerful cards that people have invested a lot of money into. These master sets retailed at $180 each for the pre-orders.
Wow.
Subsequently, after release, they dropped to about 140 to 120 for the fact that foil cards with a little piece of plastic that gives it the shininess when it reflects in the light was causing cards to curl. They used a different cardboard, a different varnish that gives it the water seal so that if you get a couple drops of water, it's not going to ruin your card completely. The cards were curling, edges were chipping on all these sets, and then you go to the actual cards themselves, the effects that were released. They would show and tease, we're going to stick this card that was $150 before into this set. You guys should buy the set for this $150 card.
Yeah.
Tanking the secondary market. And now those copies of the cards are like $50, $60 because they're curled. They're damaged cards. They're difficult to trade because people care about the pristine condition of the cards. So this happened 3 times in the course of 8 months between
Wow.
2 standard sets. Standard sets are $100 a box for 36 packs. This is the casual Magic players' go-to place to get cards. 2 master sets in this 8-month span, and they were selling 33% less than they were the year before.
That's rough.
So, enter BattleBond this last weekend. In response to some of the criticisms they have received over card stock, quality of cards, BattleBond came in and blew things out of the water. First of all, this set is designed for people to play together. They went away from the individual strength of a player to the strength of 2 players. BattleBond has been marketed as a drafting set where 2 people play together on a team against another team of 2 players. Now, with that, many cards in the set were designed to interact with your partner. You both play at the same time. You can draw cards out of your opponent's deck or out of your teammate's deck and play in tandem. My local game store had 2 players that were extremely into this. They went out, they got matching hats. They got matching sunglasses. They got matching t-shirts and yellow shorts.
Yellow?
And every time, it is whatever they had at Walmart.
Okay.
The point is they had a matching outfit, and they were just having a blast. They were dropping their lands, the resource to play other cards. At the same time, they got to their 5th land, and they both dabbed in opposite directions of each other. So it's brought a lot of flavor to the community in terms of how you play with the set. It also brought much needed reprints. They printed several cards that were important to what we call the eternal formats. Those ones where we said people are paying $150 a card because there's cash tournaments where people pay $50,000 prize pools. Okay. That's why some of these cards are 200, 300. Underground Seas are 800 right now. Which Underground Seas have not been printed and will never be printed again because they are on a reserved list that Wizards of the Coast, other stuff, technical jargon. Patty doesn't understand. He's nodding his head and shaking. Absolutely. Sure. I get you, Darman. This is very important.
I'm actually looking at the cards.
Yeah?
Ooh.
Yeah, there's a dog catching a frisbee, which is pretty tight.
Yeah, BattleBond is really fun. So
It is.
They reprinted a whole bunch of cards that are playable in these old formats along inside this format. And the best part about this is they did not jack up the price of this set. This set sells for the same as their standard sets. The MSRP of a pack is $4, as opposed to MSRP of one of these master sets were $10 a pack, or almost $200 for a box.
Just to put that in perspective, on the draft event over the weekend, you paid $10 to get 4, or basically between you and your partner to get 4 packs.
Yeah, different stores were doing different ratios of packs to player buy-in.
Yeah.
And this has brought a lot of excitement to the Magic community. This is a step in a good direction. Assad, why don't you tell us about your pre-release experience?
Well, I actually formed a team with my nephew, which is one of the things we've been looking forward to doing for a long time. And he's about as good of a player as I am. We don't normally do competitive. We're normally pretty casual. But I'm echoing, aren't I?
No.
It's out of... I hear it, but don't worry about it.
Okay. So we ended up placing second in our tournament.
Nice.
Yeah, we only lost once during the 4 rounds, and then once during the top 4 playoff. It was to the same team. They were just the ones that they just destroyed everyone. But in our last match with them, we actually lasted a lot longer. So, but I mean, it was great. We were going through and picking packs like, okay, this will be good for your strategy. This will be good for your strategy. And we built 2 decks that didn't look that impressive. But when we used them together, they backed each other up, and that was a great feeling. And we were like coming up with strategies to, it's like, okay, so when I do this, you're gonna do this, and then like it's like, okay, when I block this creature, you need to do this, and things like that. I mean, it just brought a whole new dynamic to the game. And I mean, I was satisfied with like the cards I ended up pulling from packs afterwards. And just instead of the normal tournament experience where I'm feeling like the pressure's like, oh, I feel like these guys all just want to kill me.
Which is a very real thing.
Yeah. I was like, man, I'm just having a blast like doing this. It's like, man, I don't think we're going to win, but we're going to just have fun. But we won a lot.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's just a good feeling to actually put money into an event like this and not only enjoy it, but actually thrive in the experience. And yeah, this is something that we're going to remember here for quite some time. And hopefully they'll continue to do things similar to this here on out.
Wizards of the Coast has been trying to get more and more people into Magic, trying to encourage the community to be less toxic, less walk into the tournament and have that expectation, I'm going to lose. They've been trying really hard to make the game more accessible, which, by the way, if any CrossForge member wants to get into playing into Magic, I have buckets upon buckets of cards from standard rotation that I will ship out to you, and you can have fun building at least a proof of concept of what you want to do. I will pay the cost of shipping. I'll just ship it to you. Just hit me up.
Cool. Ned, do you play this?
So I've not played Magic in a very long time. Probably back in high school was the last time I played. Let me put it this way. The last time I played Magic, artifacts were the new thing. And
That a long time ago. I don't
know. And
was that during Scars?
No, the original Mirrodin, right?
Yeah, the original Mirrodin was around the time I was playing, and Turbostasis decks were the big tournament decks at that point in time.
Care to explain what Turbostasis is?
Turbostasis was basically a deck that was designed to You play your stuff. It was a blue-white deck that lets you play your stuff, and then you could tap stuff to where, oh, your opponent wants to play something. Nope. 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 Nope.
It's a hyper control deck.
Yes.
So you're just aggravating your opponent.
Yep.
Yeah.
There are some people in Magic, like me,
Yeah.
play specifically so that your opponent cannot play, and that is a viable way to play Magic.
That's how I play. That's how I play Pokemon. Leech Seed, Poison, Sleep all day, and just wait for you to slowly suffocate.
So you want to play a blue-white deck?
Yeah.
Patty, I am going to make you the most bomb of blue-white decks.
All right,
you're gonna
I'll give it a try.
But yeah, Turbo Stasis back then. I have not played since then. There's times I've thought about getting back into it, but then I look at my wallet and I like what I see in there.
Yeah.
Until a new graphics card comes out, and you're like, oh. I gotta go buy this.
Yeah, the money sink for Magic has been broken up basically into 3 stages. Number 1, for the Eternal formats, you're playing with decks that cost a house. I'm not even kidding.
Yeah.
There are some people who have, well, especially with some of the land-based cards going up, a playset of Underground Seas is $2,400 right now.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
But it's a one-time investment. You have those cards, they will do nothing except appreciate until Wizards of the Coast goes under. And even then, there's going to be enough underground Magic stuff that those cards will retain their value as collector items. Just because of the 25 years that Magic has been going. The second stage is I have a deck of cards that is worth a used car. And again, those are cards that once you buy them, you're not getting rid of them because they're good for the entire format. They're powerful cards. Again, unless they get reprinted into the ground, you're not losing money by investing into them. It's just like going out and buying all the expansions of a board game. Now, the same cannot be said for my bracket, which is standard, which is the cost of a new computer component.
Yeah.
I've spent I think $100, a little bit over $100 on each set that's dropped for the main story sets over the last couple months. So I put in about $700. No, that's not right. We've Ixalan, Rivals, Dominaria, about $300 over the last 6 months or so.
That's not as much as I expected.
It might be a little bit higher. It might be a little bit lower because I also trade cards. That's my favorite part about Magic is playing with the money and numbers of cards. But my current deck, I think, is about 140. So, and that's something I go and I compete in tournaments with.
Yeah.
There's actually at the most recent Pro Tour, so where they go and they compete for thousands of dollars and notoriety. 7 out of the 8 decks were under $100.
Nice.
That's great.
Yeah, they were all red-black decks for those that are interested. There was one deck that was upwards of $600, and it was a control deck that used all the new planeswalkers that everybody has been going ballistic over because they swing the game so much.
Yeah.
Well, that's pretty cool.
So that's our Magic snapshot.
But then you got the tier that I'm in, which is I mostly play Commander, and I just get like a bunch of random single copies of cards. I usually spend $5 or less on a card, and I build decks, and I just tweak them here and there.
That's kind of tier 2, where once you get those cards, you're not getting rid of them because they're good for all time.
But see, I'm not spending like hundreds or thousands of dollars.
No, but if you were to value out your collection, Assad.
I'd rather not.
Okay, all right. You fit into tier 2, right?
Okay, yes, I fit into tier 2 then. I guess, well, the way you were explaining it is like, okay, you're spending like lots of money on like these really good cards and then you don't get rid of them, but
I mean, yeah, like anybody can have Storm for $600, and people will amass these cards over time. It's not like just dropping chunks. Like this is like the values of a collection or what you play with.
yeah, because normally I spend maybe $30 or $40 a month on Magic cards, if that.
Have you
That's
bought your doubling season yet?
no.
Yeah,
That would take
just
up
hold
the
off.
entire thing.
Hold off. Wait for it to tank a little bit.
What I'm hoping is I'm going to play in the BattleBond event this week, and I'm hoping I pull one this time.
Yeah, there's so many great cards that came out. Like,
Yeah. I pulled
for
the Planeswalkers.
what's that? Oh, you
I pulled
pulled
the Planeswalkers.
what is it?
See, it's the siblings, you know.
Kenrith?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the thing. Before me and my nephew started, we both designated cards that if we pulled them in our respective pulls, that we'd give them the other person. I chose doubling season. He chose the Planeswalkers.
Nice.
So he got his. I didn't get mine. So
Yeah, I got True Name Nemesis by the same kind of trade.
I did get Nagila though, which was kind of like my second choice. So
Nice.
nobody knows what I'm talking about. So yeah.
Well, this was all very fascinating.
Patty, we're gonna get you caught up. We're gonna get you into Magic. You're gonna love your new addiction. I'm your cardboard pimp now.
You said,
all
you
right.
said this about Hearthstone too, and
Just play Hearthstone.
I do play Hearthstone. I play so much
Yeah.
Hearthstone.
I like
Ah.
Hearthstone.
so,
Well,
well,
you and I are gonna connect very well over that. Let me send you my battle tag. I got you on Facebook now.
yeah, if this is something that you're interested in out there in the CFG community, we are as the guy who runs the YouTube channel, I'm constantly looking for ways to expand the channel so that it's not just the Patty show, which I mean, hey, I'm fine with that, but I think there's way more interesting people here at Crossword Gaming than just me. So we're looking to expand into other shows, other topics. If this is something that you would like to see a lot more of, hit me up, shoot me a message on Facebook, leave a comment in the comment of the YouTube video. I'm assuming there's a way to do that on Patreon, but I don't hang out over there enough to know. So if you do comment on Patreon, I might not even see it for a little while. But yeah, if that's something you're interested in, anything that you're like, man, I'd love to see a show about this, let us know. And fortunately for you all in the community, we're a small enough group that if you have an idea for a show and you actually think that you would personally be able to pull it off, that's a possibility. I'm not sitting here telling you that it will happen, but we are small enough that it's definitely a bigger possibility that something like that would happen than, say, if you told IGN, hey, I have an idea, and they liked it. They'd probably just take it from you. I don't know. I don't know that they're that kind of a company. I don't want to make it sound like I think they would steal something from you, but I'm just, it's just, odds are they would just ignore you. That's what would happen over there. So, yeah, that's the thing.